Hi there, Pastor Josh here. This past Sunday, in my fairy tale retelling of the Easter story of Christ's death on the cross, his rising from the dead, and his victory over death and the devil, you may have noticed that the disciples in the story were clowns. You may have just thought, oh, that's just Josh being silly. But actually, it was a very intentional choice. See, clowns have been around throughout all of history and in basically every culture. And clowns are funny. I mean, in our modern culture, in North America, clowns are seen as scary and they're promoted as scary. But clowns have been found funny for several reasons. They often fail or choose not to follow the rules of society. They're naive when it comes to how things are done, or they fail a lot. And in a lot of cultures, clowns also spoke truth to power, as it were, pointing out the foolishness of things done in society. And clowns persisted in pursuing whatever they were doing. So for centuries, clowns have brought joy. And I chose clowns to be the followers of Jesus because this may sound surprising to you, but actually I think clowns exemplify what it means to be a Christian really well. Here's what I mean by that. So clowns do not do what is expected. Either they fail to do or they choose not to do what is expected of them, what the rules of society say. So a clown may use a chair or a ladder in a wrong way. They may eat a pie with the handle of a fork instead of the tines of a fork and things like that. We find humor in that. But Christians are also supposed to be different than the world. See, the world says, gain wealth. And Christ says, give wealth away. The world says, gain power. And Christ says, surrender to me. And there's a whole bunch of other examples we could look at where the world says one thing is right and important, and Christ says something else is important. So Christians do the opposite of what the world expects. Clowns can also be naive, and we are called, Paul says, to be innocent to evil. When it comes to evil, we are meant to be innocent and naive to evil. Clowns persist even when they're messing up or fooling themselves or making a fool of themselves. And Christians, we persist even when the world mocks us, because we know that Christ is the better reward. And finally, just as, again, in some cultures, the clown would speak truth to power, and here think of like jesters, for example, in the medieval era, we speak truth to the powers of this world, the truth of Christ to the powers of this world. Paul, in his first letter to the church in Corinth, he writes this in chapter 1, brothers and sisters, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that were not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. It is because of him that you are in Christ Jesus, who has become for us wisdom from God. That is, our righteousness, holiness, and redemption. Therefore, as it is written, let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. Not many were wise Not many were of noble birth. Now, in our culture, that may not be true. We do have very wise people and very nobly born people, well-to-do born people in the church in North America. But I want to encourage you to be okay being a clown, to be okay being a fool for Christ, living according to his ways, which are opposite than the ways of the world, because he is our wisdom and because he is our righteousness, and ultimately he is our reward. And the joy of the Lord will be our strength when we do. Well, that's it for me for now. God bless. I'm praying for you, and see you soon.